Hi, more than 1 month later, and I am finally back with another video. I did warn that I was a slow artist, okay? But for real, I just had other things going on, like my friends have been commissioning me, so I had more important art to focus on. And to be fair to me, I was 100% on schedule to release this video at the end of May, and then I got like violently sick, so we can blame that one on God, I guess. And if I sound weird this video, it's because I still feel funny from being sick, so sorry about that. If I start sounding like I'm speaking through a bag of gravel, that is why. Anyways, to cut to the chase, so this intro isn't as long as my other one, in this video I will be redesigning 3 characters, Torn, Jr., and a character that was previously known as Rohan, more on that later. If you didn't watch my last video, I am using ArtFight as an excuse to redesign characters from my comic so I can finally actually start making it. The basics of what you need to know is magic exists in the world of this comic. Everyone can use magic, but not everyone chooses to. Active magic users have it rough. The comic heavily features a gang called the Syndicate that all the characters I will be redesigning today are in. And the main characters of the comic, Serene and Ayana, won't be designed for another while, basically because I'm scared. So to start off, I will be working on Torn. Here are his past designs, and also I had some sketches that I did in my sketchbook that I wanted to show off, just to give more of a peek in on my process. I liked Torn's original design, but my main issue with him was his color palette. I felt like I was making everyone very one color heavy, like they were Power Rangers or something, and I really didn't like that, so I was trying a bunch of stuff, but you'll see at the end of my process that Torn ends up not changing that much at all. So I guess I got it in one vibes wise, which is okay, just a little frustrating at the time. Also, by the way, Torn and Junior segments were cut down time-wise, just because Rohan's section takes up so much of the video to go through, so let's get into it. Torn's most distinctive feature is his helmet. In this world, a phenomenon called magic spikes has been occurring for a while now, and it's what caused tension between magic users and non-magic users in the first place. A magic spike essentially is just that, an increase in magic in a specific location. Magic in this world is found everywhere, even in the actual planet, which is why everyone can use magic if they so desire to. However, a sudden introduction to too much magic in one person or one location can cause that magic to go haywire, even if that magic was incredibly controlled beforehand. I haven't quite yet decided how much I want to reveal in these videos to keep intrigue for the comic, but basically there is an outside force that has discovered how to actively mess with this balance by artificially making magic spikes. The magic system of someone who is at the very center or pinpoint of the spike will go out of control, enough that a phenomenon has started popping up where objects will fuse with a person if they are in the exact same location as them, like on the actual person's body. Obviously, this has caused a lot of issues, even with how low of a chance there is of this actually happening, since a person has to be at most within the diameter of 6 inches from the concentrated pinpoint of a magic spike for it to take this drastic of an effect on them. A magic spike can affect individuals up to half a mile in diameter, but for people in that range, really the only thing that happens is they lose control of their magic systems for a while, and the intensity of that depends on how close they are to the heart of the spike. So Torn's story is that he just happened to be in the wrong place, wrong time. He was right on top of a magic spike, and the helmet he was wearing fused with his head. This is supposed to be like a motorcycle helmet, but my idea has always been that he never actually had a motorcycle. He just liked dressing up like he did. Sort of dressing for the job you want, not for the job you have. Objects fusing with people obviously is going to bring up a lot of issues, and for Torn specifically, the helmet basically fused with parts of his brain, which has negatively impacted his life a lot. He can't think too far ahead in the future. I have the thought that he has a form of retrograde amnesia where he can't really remember things from his past, though I'm not quite yet sure how serious it is. And one of the more serious downsides of the incident is that Torn can no longer eat, so he's become extremely skinny because of that. He essentially only gets fed through IVs, and there's a doctor character in my lineup called Jay who helped him when it happened. And the helmet previously would have had some like text on screen features, so when it bonded with his head, that completely erased his ability to speak, and now he only communicates through beeps and emoticons and small words on his helmet because he can't have a lot of text on there at once. I have the idea that every third beep or so sort of sounds like a word if you focus hard enough, kind of like Animalese in Animal Crossing, but more warped than that. So maybe more like Simlish. But I think it's understandable enough that if you spend enough time with him, you can at least get the gist of what he's trying to say with context clues from the intonations of his beeps. So the rest of the gang would be pretty good at interpreting what he's saying, but I think Junior would be the best at it because he spends the most time with Torn. Speaking of, now we are moving on to Junior. Here are his previous designs, along with some sketches I did in my sketchbook for his new one. I will admit, the last design I did of him, I remember doing it super rushed because I think ArtFight was starting like the next day or something, so I didn't really have a lot of time to work on it, and it's definitely my least favorite old design out of all of my characters. So, sorry to Junior for that. I also want to say that it was around this time that I really started getting busy and having less time to work on these, and I realized I really needed to pick up the pace if I wanted to be done in a timely manner. So my rendering process will be a lot different going forward. I love being a slow artist. It is so fun. Anyways, let's get going with Junior. Junior is the youngest person in the syndicate, and he is also the newest member. Junior is about 19 or 20 at the oldest, and he is not the brightest one in the gang, to put it nicely, but he is very skilled at what he does, so he got in. Junior really didn't take me that long at all. I think in total he was about 3 hours or so. The sketches I had done in my sketchbook definitely helped a lot with that. And I ended up doing a bit of a combo of his last two designs with a different silhouette, just to make everyone more distinct, kind of. Also, he's wearing sportswear, but this boy is not sporty at all. I just want that to be known. He's wearing sort of a cropped top. Not enough for it to be a crop top, but short enough that it's like a cousin to the idea, you know? And the reason I did that is because I have the idea that he looks up to Serene, the main character, so much that he like wants to be like her. And Serene's main design has included a crop top for like years now. And I can tell you now that will not be changing anytime soon. Anyways, yeah, I wanted Junior's look to be quite youthful and innocent, and also make it look like he has about one thought in his head at all times on a good day. Also, I didn't realize until now that I had written the wrong moon phase on Anya's sheet, which is incredibly embarrassing because that's my character. But trust me, I went back and changed it, okay? I'm just grateful that no one knows me on here, so no one like said anything about it. Now we are moving on to Rohan. Oh boy, did Rohan make me suffer like crazy this redesign. A beautiful transformation happens, but not without me basically having a breakdown over this character. Here are Rohan's old designs, along with some sketches I did in my sketchbook, and a quick outfit sketch I did digitally that had the wrong body type, but that's because I thought this is going to be Junior at the time, and I didn't want to redo it, so sorry. Alright, let's get into it. So, to give you an idea of just how much I suffered with Rohan, I think Torn took me about 4 to 5 hours to get down. Junior, like I said, only took me about 3 hours. Rohan took me almost 9 hours to get right. And that is why this time lapse is moving so fast. I even cut out an attempt and a half from this recording too, just because I didn't want this video to be ungodly long. But just know I was about to burst into tears at any minute throughout that, because I couldn't get him to look good. I really liked the design from an objective standpoint, but there was just something that was really bothering me about the drawing, and I just didn't know what. Here coming up, I'm going to start coloring this sketch. To an outside viewer, you may be telling yourself, Rohan looks fine. I don't know why this artist didn't like this. And you would be valid for thinking that. However, as I'm coloring in this sketch and I'm putting in all these details, a part of my brain that apparently had previously been just dormant for some reason starts waking up. I just want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening when all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice. I'm looking at Rohan and I realize exactly what is bothering me about him. I made Rohan look like my brother. I don't think you understand. This is literally the worst thing that could happen to me. I don't want my brother in my comic. He wouldn't even deserve to be in here. Despite me telling him time and time again for years that I don't even want to think about a little franchise you may have heard about that rhymes with Barry Botter ever again. For some reason, he still finds a way to bring it up to me every chance he gets. And despite my really harsh rejections of the subject, and even me just getting up and leaving the conversation entirely the past couple times he's done this, he still hasn't gotten the hint. And if you don't understand why this behavior specifically pisses me off so much, then you're just not my target audience, I fear. But okay, I am like having a full-on breakdown at this point. I paused the recording here and I try to give Rohan different facial features. I try to give him different facial hair. I am trying literally everything I can think of. But I think I was just so in my head at this point, at this wildly embarrassing mistake, that to me, no matter what I tried, Rohan still looked like my brother. So then I'm like, okay, what if I transgender her? That could be beautiful. And my general approach for transing any character really is to just take how they looked previously and just make them go through a process, essentially, because I don't like the widespread gender bending idea of like, you have to drastically change this character in order to make them look like a different gender. You know, that's coward shit right there, and I don't like that. But I get to doing this, and now I'm looking at Rohan after her process, and I realize something else. I forgot my brother and I are related. If I was having a breakdown before, oh boy, I was ready to end it all here. So then I'm like, okay, clearly something else has to change too, right? I end up deciding on changing Rohan's body type completely to make him skinny, which is a sin, and I will be going to hell for that, but I had no other choice. and then I start thinking back on my transgendering idea from before. I really like the idea, but the problem with Rohan is that his backstory is so sad and so heartbreaking, and I was sitting there like, haven't trans women been through enough? Am I really going to voluntarily make a trans woman suffer in the story that I am making? Am I really going to sit here and do that? I think I'd rather jump. But then a question pops up into my head that helps me make my final decision. And that question was, would transitioning save her? And my knee-jerk reaction to that, without a doubt in my mind, was yes, 100%. Transitioning would absolutely save her. So I will be resuming this video now, and I would like to introduce you all to Ruhi. I ended up drawing her face off recording just because I was working through different facial features, but I still wanted to keep some similarities to how she looked pre-realization, and once I was happy with what I had come up with, I started recording again. You'll see later that I end up changing minor details here and there, but overall it stays pretty much the same. I also wanted to keep the same outfit for her, I just ended up changing the bottoms, really. Also, you'll see that Ruhi is actually smiling in this drawing. I really do think that transitioning would make her so much happier. Pre-realization Ruhi was kind of miserable all the time, unfortunately. So with this change and her new physical appearance and all that, she is essentially a new character to me entirely, but I love her, so it's okay. And her dead name was still on the file because at this point I hadn't done research on what her new name could be, so I just put a black box over it. You know what it was, of course, just for the ease of talking about her pre-realization, but I did still want to cover it up out of respect. Also, there is another canonically trans woman in the syndicate. Her name is Mary, and she has been trans from her inception. And when I decided to make Ruhi, I had the thought that Mary would have helped her through the process because Ruhi would have definitely transitioned after she had joined the gang. And I just thought that was a really sweet thought and I wanted to share. Another thing about transitioning Ruhi is that I also decided to transition her partner, which means I basically just took away the only canonical gay man couple of the comic. I'm so sorry to gay men everywhere. Listen, I swear I have gay men in my life. The comic just ended up like this. I'll put another gay couple in there somehow, somewhere. They'll be there. And if not, you know, maybe it's better this way, because then a random side gay couple won't become the main focus instead of the two main female characters in their lesbian relationship, you know? It's actually kind of feminist if you think about it. I love fandoms and the way they like to hate women and ignore them, even if they are the main characters. It's really great. Anyways, also in my previous video, I said that there would be 3 people entering the palace in the intro scene of the comic, and Ruhi was going to be one of them, but I have decided to leave her outside of the palace, really only because I realized that Torn and Junior being left alone as the other 3's getaway plan was an incredibly bad idea. So Ruhi's going to be out there with them. I'm incredibly sorry to her. But I left this footage in of me trying and failing to figure out her palace outfit. My failure here ended up working out in the end though, so it's okay. I'll dress Ruhi up in cute clothes further down the line for fun. And alright, that is the end of the video, and here are the final character sheets for Torn, Junior, and Ruhi. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope to get to my last characters outside of Serena and Ayana, but at this rate, I really am unsure if I'm going to be able to do all of them, since that means there are 5 characters left, and I have less than a month left, and I'm still working on another commission. I'll try my best. I still haven't decided which group I'm even going to go for, honestly, since my time is so limited now. I'll figure it out, but the next video at this rate is definitely going to be when ArtFight is already going, and I might record some of the pieces I draw for ArtFight if the people I'm drawing for are okay with it, but if not, then I'll just post my finished pieces somewhere. We'll see. As always, I'm on Tumblr at mitchmotch, I'm on Blue Sky at mitchmotch, and I'm not really anywhere else. Feel free to check those pages out if you want, but if not, that's okay too. Do whatever you want forever. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Or if you already had your day, I hope it was a good one. Alright, take care.